All right, so my philosophy is quit on a high, so let's just break up the workshop right now and go our separate ways. So how do you guys feel after last night?
Good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good?
Good, really good.
Really good?
I felt really good last night. Even though I didn't get a number, I felt excellent about being able to do everything I was able to do out there.
Cool. How many people got a number? Cool, you did. And the crew, how many people got a number? 1, 2, 3. So I promised a $100 bill to the first guy who got a number and showed it to me. Now, Outback got a number, but he didn't show it to me. Our friend Rourke, on the other hand, got a number and ran up right away. I think it was 3 names on the paper. 3 girls' names on the paper?
No, it was one girl's name, but she was very artsy.
She was very artsy.
Yeah.
Anyway, congratulations. If they come out tonight with us tonight,
Really?
the girls from that phone number, you get another $100 bill.
Cool.
It's in my back pocket waiting for you. All right?
Monopoly money.
Exactly, it's Monopoly money. So I want to do some breakdowns of last night. By the way, so let's just see, what'd you end up with? 3 phone numbers.
1.
A phone number?
1.
Phone number?
0, but a couple are going to show up.
A lot of purchases, you know what? And I thought you could have gotten phone numbers too if you had actually known how to do it. You know, so tonight you're going to learn those tools, and with the skills you will have tonight, you could have gotten at least 3 numbers, judging by the way you were interacting with people.
I got 2.5. It was actually, the second was a married woman, so, you know, it was a big deal.
She wrote it on your arm?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
I'm not going to call her, but, you know.
I got to say, like, I've done a lot of workshops before with Mystery. I've never done one of my own. I've winged, you know, all the guys, you know, Mystery, RJ, David D, you know, RSD, all those guys, all the acronyms. I've gone out with all those guys, and I've never seen, like, a first-time group go out and tear it up like that. Like, I mean, how did you feel when you were in the club?
Comfortable.
Comfortable, yeah. Yeah. Compared to how do you feel before when you're going out, sitting in the limo, waiting to get ready?
Excited.
Excited.
Yeah.
Were you nervous?
I was.
You were. Yeah.
My usual club experience, guys, is, I'll tell you about it, right, with my buddies. We'll get to the club, we'll drink a bottle of something in the car, you know, just to get a little tipsy. We'll get in the club, we'll have about 2 or 3 drinks to get our game face on, and then when we don't know what's going on, then we'll start approaching women. So last night I was at the bowling alley, and I was kind of like, man, this is not working. I was really nervous. My heart rate was being fast. I'm like, no, you know, the Thundercats tell me to approach girls and guys, and I want to tell them to shut up. You know, not in a bad way, but you know, it's just like, and I tried. It wasn't succeeding. I walked outside, took a breath of air, and I got into the club, and I'm sitting there. We're all sitting around a table, and I just said, fuck it. You know, something just hit me in my head, and it just says, you know what? I told myself. Usually the little voice in my head controls me. And I told the boys, shut up, we're doing this. And I just got up and just went straight to it. And that was the first 3 set that came to the table with us.
Yeah, I
thought
that got the whole night started. As soon as Rourke went over to that 3 set, you know, he brought him over to the table. And then Thunderkid and I looked around, and like every guy was paired off with a girl.
Yeah.
You know, every guy was paired off with a girl.
It's cool.
And one thing I think that we noticed that was really like an important key and principle last night was that we had a table, so we had our own world. And when you guys would go out there, you'd approach girls, and they'd be in their world, so you'd sort of be like the stranger. But once they came over into our world, they were the strangers. And we kind of got to set the rules, and they got to flirt and play and show off for us. So I think it's the concept of the instant date, that if you meet someone in one part of the club, then you move them over to the other part of the club. It's almost like a time distortion. They know you better. Do you notice that? Like you'd approach them in one place and it'd be like kind of dry and awkward, and you'd be the dancing monkey. Mm-hmm. Then you brought them over to our table, and we could sit there. And I think Outback learned an important thing last night when there was a girl and you had her come over and sit next to you, right?
That might have been the most important thing I learned.
Yeah. You want to say? Or?
Yeah. I am okay with last night, but to be honest, it's like I've had a few good nights in my life like that. But to me, I felt like there was a couple of concepts that, you know, were really ready to take it up to the next level, and the things that separate style from, you know, ordinary men like us, though, is this concept of push and pull. And one of the hardest things, one of the first things Style corrected me on, and one of the things I had the hardest time to stop doing, is I just have the hardest time when I first enter a bar. My periscope goes up and I just scope like this, and I'm looking, and he's like, look, you know, y'all this is our world, this is our thing. You be the man and let them notice you. And so that was part of my increase in awareness last night. But probably the biggest thunderbolt that struck me, and I kind of looked around, and I don't want to really speak for all of y'all, but it seemed like we were all doing it, is we would open a set, and then we would get their attention, and we would just keep their attention, and we would just, you know, we were rolling, and we were funny, and that sort of thing. And I thought I did a pretty ballsy move. There's a group of girls that had joined our table, but they were all four clustered on one couch. And I grabbed one of them and I took her by the hand. I brought her over to one of the other sections and sat her down and was about to just, you know, I had her hand, I was about to just go like this. Style pulls me aside and he goes, ignore her for a little bit. He says, you got to push pull. So you got her attention, you brought her over here, now look at me. And I just kept like wanting to go back to her and it's like, look at me. And the power that I felt, I just all of a sudden felt like the man. And it was a huge power play that really was a different level than I had been on. And so for me, the lesson from last night is trying to really learn about push-pull, learn more about push-pull, learning more about demonstrating higher value, because I realized that I can be funny and kind of entertain these women and kind of talk to them pretty well, but what really separates Style from you know, ordinary men is the way that he DHVs. Another thing that he did that I'm just like blown away with is there's a beautiful girl. Remember that black girl? Who brought that beautiful black girl over to the set? You did, didn't you? To the table? Well, she kind of turns around. She's like meeting me, and I'm, you know, just doing my normal AFC stuff. She shakes Styles' hand, and the first thing he says to her is, your hands are dry. And it immediately shifted and showed higher value to him, and he was the man, and of course they had a mutual friend that it came out to be, but what a way to just change the dynamic that and I was worried about being funny and entertaining, but he was really DHBing.
Yeah, and she's coming over today.
Yeah. To
help us with fashion and stuff. Mm-hmm. She turns out she's in the fashion business, so I said, come on over and show us some stuff. So a couple other thoughts about last night. I think Outback hit on an important thing that I'm going to teach you guys, which is, you had the openers, you had some entertaining stuff, you had all the right ideas, and you did everything I taught you. Now I want to teach you how to get that real attraction. Because it's almost like, to me, I didn't expect you guys to go that far to see you like Dirty Dancing with two girls on the dance floor. I was like, what the hell is going on? That was really crazy.
Can I make another point real quick?
Yeah.
That I learned last night? Usually when I go out and I meet a girl, I'll latch on to her, and I just feel like you're giving her control, you're giving her the power, and by the end of the night, it feels like we've been married for 10 years and you don't even want to see each other. So last night what I did, as opposed to what I usually do, is I networked, I talked to a lot of people, and it was cool because I guess it makes you kind of look like a big shot, in a way. Because I think in her mind, she's like, wow, who's this guy? He knows all these people, and really, you're just meeting people. I thought that was very important,
Right.
my perspective.
Like, what did I tell you when you're trying? There was that one girl you're trying to figure out how to get her. What did I tell you to do?
Go talk to another girl.
Exactly.
Awesome. And that's exactly what I did. It was perfect.
Shit
Yeah,
works.
exactly. So here's the thing. I think this is what happened. You guys went out, you did the openers, you found it working. We got girls, hanging on us all over the table. And then it was like, once they started flirting a little bit and showing some sexual energy, you guys are almost like the dog nature came out and just wanted to pounce on them versus being like really cool and laying back. Because once they showed their sexual power, they took total control. Because I saw like a lot of chasing going on. I saw Ford, I saw Zone, following a girl like all over the dance floor, that girl with the white dress, kind of just following around like a puppy dog because she had you now because she'd kind of given you a little bit of sexual allure. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, like I would see you kind of following around the club and then following around the dance floor and then kind of put your hands around her when she was dancing. And that was giving her, that was lowering your value, so you just became another guy chasing her, whereas before you kind of came in with high value.
That's where I lost her.
That is where you lost her, isn't it?
Yeah.
Somebody, you had a little experience too, didn't you? Where you made an error. Do you know what I'm talking about with the drink?
Yeah, you're telling me to push pull with her?
No, the drink, remember?
Oh, yeah. So So I was like, take her to another part of the club. And I'm like, okay. So I grabbed her by the hand. I'm here, come with me. She's like, okay. And she just totally went with me, followed me. And my first instinct is my gut reaction, what I'm programmed to do is say, let's get a drink, and I bought her a drink. I swear to God, guys, right after I bought her a drink, we walked back and she disappeared.
Total opposite happened. I was dancing with that girl and she goes, said, I want a drink. I was like, okay, whatever. So she started walking to the bar and I walked over to the bar. I turned around and put my back to the bar and put my shoulder, like my elbow on the bar, not in any way paying attention to the bartender. She ordered a drink for herself and she said, do you want one? I said, yeah, okay. So she ordered me a drink, and she paid for both of them.
Cool. That's how the game is played.
And I wasn't even thinking in any way about paying for those drinks, and it just came across. I didn't have to say anything.
Nice.
And it was right after that I kissed her. I was just like, "Come here, I want to tell you something."
And so you said, "Come here, I want to tell you something," and then bam.
Well, it was kind of like there was the bar, and there was like this little wall separating that from where our area was.
Right.
So it was kind of like a corner. And I just said, "Come here, I want to tell you something." I took her by the hand over to this corner.
Right.
And I just kind of looked at her and I said, "Do you want to kiss me?" And the total mystery kiss closed.
And then what happened?
And she kind of smiled and she said, "You mean you want to kiss me?" And I just said, no. And I shook my head no, and then we
said, "Come here," and
then we just kissed.
Nice, man. Nice. Anyone else? Good stuff. And you're learning, like, sometimes the rules, they don't make logical sense. You buy a girl a drink, you don't buy a drink. She doesn't know that. She doesn't know that she's operating that program. It's just the program she's operating on. And the rules were made because they were worked and they were field tested. And now you guys each learned your lesson and how it works. Like when I do radio interviews or magazine interviews, it's so hard to explain. They're like, of course you should buy a girl a drink and be a gentleman. Well, you should, but it doesn't work. And we operate off what works. I don't know how I use a knife and fork, the exact mechanics involved, but I know they work and help me eat. So, once it works, you don't have to think about it anymore. It just becomes who you are. Does anyone else want to break down any other interactions from last night? Any thoughts? Yeah, we got to talk. Yeah, I want to talk to you about your experience because I felt like you, I saw you at first. I saw like a total transformation in you last night.
Okay.
Because when I saw your first sets, I saw like a guy standing there like talking to girls like really like uptight and awkward. Then later I looked over and I didn't even recognize you. You were sitting in a chair. There was a girl sitting there. You're all like, like listening, all cool. I felt like a switch flipped in you last night.
Right.
Yeah, you want to tell me about it?
Well, when we first got to the bowling alley.
Right, and let me just break it down so we went to the bowling alley first, and I felt like that was a good idea because we did all our warm-up sets at this kind of clubby bowling alley. We got all the nervousness out of the way, we found out the openers worked. Then we walked in the club, we were already charged and in state.
Right.
And I think it's a good idea to do that in general. Go out somewhere where you don't care. Do your warm-ups. When you're feeling good, you've gotten some female attention, you're comfortable with the material, go out to the place you really want to hit.
Yeah, and the biggest hurdle for me was you can just go up to somebody and ask them about dental floss and start a conversation. It just blows my mind. That was like, I've read it over and over, these openers, and I'm like, there's no way that works. I knew it kind of that they would work, but not so effectively.
Right.
So, and then, then kind of later in the night at the club, I kind of met a woman on the dance floor and she totally blew me off, and then I went somewhere else and she had already heard one of the openers. So that's when I started getting a little discouraged.
Okay.
So, but I think you said, sit down for 15 minutes, take a break, and then I went up to the three blondes, talked to them for a bit, invited them over the table. They weren't biting, so I went and got Lisa. She did great. She invited them over the table and everything, and that helped so much. And then it's like we sat down there, and I thought I was doing kind of the push and pull thing because I'm like earlier. Well, she loved your, you did her initials or something.
Oh, yeah, little second. I'll teach you guys the second stuff.
Right.
Languages.
So now she felt part of the group because I'm like, you told me, tell her, because I said I was running out of things to say. And you said, bring her over to me. And, she was just so into it that you had guessed her initials or whatever. And then at that moment, it's like she felt part of the group. So then I'm like, well, I'm not as good as you, but I did guess that you were a single child. And then I went into, I could never date a single child because they're always so demanding.
Nice.
And I went on with that for a bit, and that's when she started to prove herself to me.
Yeah.
And she says, no, I'm a really nice person. You ask my friend, and And I don't know. I think she said something like, you know, she works at a cocktail. She's a cocktail waitress. And I said, "Oh, you're an actress," and she said, "No, I don't want to be an actress." And she says, you know, and then I said, "What do you want to, you know, what do you really want to do for a living?" Or, you know, I wasn't negative about it, but I don't think. And she said she wanted to work for the World Health Organization and to help people. And I said, that's because you're a single child and you've always wanted a little sister kind of thing, you know, just kind of build a connection or whatever. And she, you know, it seemed like she was into that a bit. And then I'm like, well, you know, she said something at some point about she wants to work, she couldn't not work. And I'm like, well, that's good, because I don't want to work and you can take care of me. And I'll just entertain you for a living.
That's great.
And we got really, I don't even know how the touching started, but by the end, it's like she had my hands, you know, like the whole time. She was very touchy. And then at the end, you know, I was getting there at the end. We were talking about going to the rock club. I'm like, you know, well, I think she's the one that suggested giving me the number so I could reach her. And I'm trying to tell, you know, she's, you know, I'm like, are you going to come to the club? And she was like, yeah. But I'm like, Neil will know if you're lying.
That's right.
So you don't lie to me. And then, you know, there was, I just gave her a hug at the end. It seemed like I could have maybe tried to kiss her or something.
I don't like the idea of making out on the way out. Like, girls just don't need to make out. There's no point in making out on the way out. They say, you know what, kiss goodbye, point to your cheek, kiss goodbye, let them kiss your cheek, and leave on a high.
Well, I think
you know what I mean?
One of the RSD newsletters said, don't become the cheesy make-out club guy kind of thing. You know, it's better to, because then it kind of goes cold, because they kind of think back to.
Well, I think the thing about, to me, you know, making out, and SOI is a statement of intent. Statement of intent means I like you, we're going to get along, we're going to have something romantic going.
Right.
So to me, if I make out with a girl in a club, that's an SOI. I'm not making out to get the make out. I'm making out to say you and I have something romantic going on, and we're proving it by making out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So in the end, I'm not going to try to get a make out to cheek. I'm just going to say, hey, kiss goodbye. She kisses my cheek, I walk out feeling good.
Right. The only mistake I think I made is as soon as I got the number, I just left and I chit-chatted.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I noticed that. That was your big mistake.
Yeah.
What happened is, and this is a lesson for all you guys, as soon as Indiana got the number, he got the number and then zoom, he was off, right? And what does that convey? That conveys, it's like the make-out before leaving. It's like, oh, I'm just after your number, now I got it, I got what I want, I can leave. And then it leaves her feeling almost like, okay. So I stayed and talked to her for a few minutes after you did that.
Right.
But after you get the number, always hang out, tell a story. Make her glad she gave you her number, and make her know that you weren't just using her to collect another number in your pocket. So afterward, you get the number, and I made this mistake too.
Right.
You know, and that's what I learned. That's what I learned from. You hang out, you tell a story, you prove that you really have a connection.
Right.
Then you take off.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, because you were off like a shot after that.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's cool. That's what you learned.
Right.
I mean, to me, you guys used all the material, and the fact, isn't it funny how once you're in flow and state, how the material just comes out of you. You thought of all those funny jokes, even though you hadn't even studied them.
Right.
You know, like it was really good stuff. Did you feel also, like at the end of the night, that everyone was envious of our group in that club? Like we were the center of attention?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It felt like, I mean, I would see girls hovering on the periphery wanting to join the party. You know, or girls would walk by and sort of slow down when they're near our table because there's always lots of activity. There are always new people at our table. Everybody's having fun. We weren't those kind of needy guys trying to hit on girls in the club anymore. We're just guys who naturally got attention from women.
I was almost in Matrix last night, kind of like this is our world today.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, and I think that really helped. I think that was really, really key, was bringing the women into our world. And, you know, with people using accomplishment intros.
I think you did for me.
Yeah, do you see a difference once you heard it?
Yeah, and then I kind of, because you said I invented the B-2 bomber.
No, the stealth bomber.
The stealth,
helped invent.
B-2 stealth bomber, yeah.
Yeah.
And then she asked me, is that true? I had to tell her that, you know, I only worked on it. I don't know what, should I continue on with that? Because
I mean, if you worked on it, you must have helped make it. You helped invent
true.
it. Give yourself some credit. You did help invent it.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Still be modest about it, that's fine. You're a modest guy, but you did that, man. Be proud of it, the accomplishment.
Yeah.
And be giving each other accomplishment intros, because
Right.
people want to know who these special guys are at the club. You know, once I did it, she wanted to take her photo with
Right.
you. I'm not saying tell lies, because they're true.
Uh-huh.
And they should know these things because they're part of what makes you and part of what makes you special. So you guys know each other's accomplishment intros. I want to hear you winging each other better.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't see guys really winging each other, helping out their buddies. Oh yeah, you said you did something funny.
Oh yeah, he was talking to a girl, and I'm like, I walk up to the girl and I go, did you tell her you were a surgeon before I got there?
No, I didn't.
I'm like, is he talking to you about surgery? He's on vacation. Don't let him talk to you about surgery.
Great.
That just
Nice.
opened it up.
Man, you guys are just on fire. That's
Yeah.
great.
It was good.
And one other thing that really, like, it's such a freaking killer line is a line you used at a late show. You got lucky in the gene pool.
Oh, yeah.
What are 3 things besides it can't be looks about looks that would make me want to get to know you better? And every girl just like melts. Like she's just like, that's where they just open up and they just pour out to you.
Right.
Well, and they think so much, and you can kind of throw some eggs in, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to teach that today. I did that with the girl you were talking to.
I had to do it.
and what Rourke and Indiana were both doing, and you'll notice what happens is most guys always try and sell themselves to the women. The guys are always saying, you know, I got a nice car, and I'm really loyal and dependent. You know, they're always trying to sell themselves. The women are always screening them. What was your last girlfriend like? Why did you break up? And the guys are trying to, you know, like do this job interview. You guys flipped it around, where the girl's selling herself to you.
Right.
And that's what you want to be doing. Because, you know, it's the idea that nothing has value unless you have to work for it. So make them work for you. I mean, that's really awesome stuff. Let's talk to you. We haven't really heard from you. What were some of your insights last night?
Some of my insights last night. When I went to the bowling alley, I just didn't even think.
Dude, he was the first guy in a set at the bowling alley, and he was in a set for a long time.
He was the first guy and the last guy because we're in a diner waiting for him,
Yeah.
holding up our order because he's talking to another set in a diner at 3 in the morning.
No way. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
That's great.
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
And it's like, I just, the less I thought about it, the better I did. I mean, I just thought, okay, you know, I didn't even think like, here's what I'm gonna do. I just made it like more automatic than that. You know, basic, you know, okay, approach, open with something, anything, you know, but you know, preferably, you know, dental floss, 'cause that's what I feel I know best. And then, you know, do that, ask how I know them, or how they know each other, and, you know, tease them a bit, get them laughing, get them going. I mean, you know, and the thing with the girls in the bowling alley, it was
Right.
it turned out to be like a company gathering.
Right.
And, you know, as I was talking with them, you know, they were trying to qualify themselves. They were saying, they're actually, you know, they went, you know, I'm married, but this girl over here, she's single, and she, you know, so I was talking with them, and I felt really good about the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, once you got the ball rolling, you know, it just kept on going. The inertia
Yeah.
kept on propelling itself.
And let me ask you, like, the club last night, is that a place you've ever been to or normally go to?
Never been there, no.
I mean, any clubs like that?
I don't usually go to clubs like that, so I mean, it was a nice club. I liked it a lot. I'd never been there before.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Probably if you went there before, you'd be sort of a fish out of water.
Yeah.
How did it feel going there and feeling like you had some social comfort?
I felt good being with this group of guys. I mean,
Yeah.
I felt really. I mean, the funny thing was I'd actually been to the Lucky Strike before.
I'm
but
talking about the second club.
the second club. Yeah, I mean, I sort of was afraid of feeling like a fish out of water, but I think I got over that just by looking at this as like everything we've been talking about. Not even looking at the club itself, looking at you know opportunities. These girls, maybe you know I can talk to them. If that doesn't work, there's these girls over here. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of opportunity, a lot of possibilities here. So I was not even thinking about the club itself.
Yeah, people sometimes say, are you hurting or harming women or this or that? It's like, we help them have a good time also.
Yeah, I was keeping it
You know?
in.
Well, one point that I wanted to make was real cool is we went to the club early, which most people be like, don't get there early because, you know, you open a good door. We got there early and it was like people were coming, I felt like people were coming over to our house, to our place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As they're coming in.
I thought it was a
you
good
know?
move too. You walk
Yeah.
in late and you're all intimidated because
Yeah, and you don't know where
everyone's
to
out having fun.
sit. Yeah.
We
So-
knew the lay of the land.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was
It's
cool.
cool.
It's cool to show up early.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Anyone else want to break down any experiences before we move on?
I was impressed. One of the pebbles about that role playing about okay, we're engaged, we're married,
Right.
okay, now we're breaking up. You know, I did that. I was really surprised how those girls loved that pebble.
Yeah.
That was just, you know, the first thing you agree about, you'd be like, okay, we're engaged. I'm like, okay, great. All right, where's the house? You know, they're talking about the house and the cars and the kids, and they're really responsive to that little thing.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us more about it, why it works, or how to elaborate on it.
I mean, to me, I think it's just role playing. You know, you're putting them in a role, and it's a fun fantasy role. They know it's not serious, but it's also something they think about, and it's just a fun game. To me, it's what they call kind of cocky, funny role playing. You have some attitude. You know, it kind of shows you're having a connection because you're saying we're right to be married. Then you're breaking up with them. It's kind of everything combined. It's push pull. It's cocky, funny. It's role playing. There's probably some NLP hypnosis level in terms of just, you know, having them imagine you guys as being married. So it creates a time distortion, emotional connection. There's probably so much going on.
It seemed to create a lot of comfort, you know.
Yeah.
They really did start acting like a girlfriend instead of just, you know, some guy at the bar you were all of a sudden. So
and on the simplest level, dude, I mean, listen to any other guy's conversation in a bar, and they're just boring the shit out of women. You know, what do you do for work? Most guys are so damn boring that even with a few of these tools, you stand out from like every other guy, you know? And now I'm going to give you the next pieces to throw in because you guys are so advanced. You guys did all the material. You did all the openers, everything. A few things you guys didn't do, though, was locking in. I'd see you guys walking, talking to girls, and there'd be a group right here. You didn't switch positions and lean against the bar. Don't forget, you can move the women around. Just because they all sit in a cluster on the couch, you know, as Outback learned, it doesn't mean they have to stay in that cluster. Say, hey, come here, move one over here. Remember when the three girls you brought over, they're all sitting together? And I forget what we did, but we dragged one girl across the other side.
Right.
What did we do? I don't remember exactly.
There was 3 girls sitting,
Right.
and we pulled the middle one out.
Right.
And then, I don't know, one of the guys went and sat in the middle, so they were kind of all separated.
Right.
And they were all in their little sections, but you know, it seemed like they still felt safe because they could still see each other, but they were in different little regions.
That's going to be in the new rule. Break up the herd.
Later in the night, Lisa helped me with bringing a group of like 4 or 5 girls over, and they all sat on
one
it was
couch.
like one big free couch, and they all sat there. And I was like, And Thundercat even said, he goes, just move them.
Yeah.
And so I just reached my hand out, and the girl just took my hand, and I just moved her.
Yeah,
I
just
didn't even
move 'em.
say anything. I just moved her, and she followed.
Just be like, hey, I'll show you something cool. And then don't talk about the move. Start just talking about something as soon as they get there. As long as you're not making small talk, where you're from, who are you, that boring stuff. That's fine. Everybody's totally movable. So when you're hanging there and they're all against the bar, say, hey, I'll show you something cool. Come over here. Bam. I got your spot. Haha. Just kidding. Take it easy. I got to rejoin my friends in a second and do your thing. You know? That was kind of very fast, but you get the point. You know, everyone's movable. So put yourself in the catbird seat. Put yourself in the throne all the time. So be conscious of that. So anything else about last night before we move on? I think that's good, right? You guys can ask me questions afterward. I want to break down a field report or interaction with a woman or a phone number, but you guys all feel like you guys did great. I feel like you guys got it. I feel like now you guys got to learn how to be pumping them with the attract material, right? And it's all the stuff you throw in between. It's all the subtleties. I still felt like you guys were good. You guys were interesting. You guys weren't like guys who are super comfortable with women, who are with women all the time, who can bang, hitting those sexual switches. Tonight, I want to see the women chasing you. You know, you're going to go and approach, but they'll be chasing you. I think it happened in early times. I think when the 2 girls started dancing, they were dancing to show off for you. But when everyone got too excited about the dancing, you know, that game was over. And I learned this lesson. We talk about epiphany moments, just like your epiphany moment with that girl when she sat down there and you turned your back to her. My epiphany moment was on my first workshop with Mystery, and I had met a girl in the club. I followed her all around the club until we were outside. Eventually, kind of got, you know, was talking to her, put my arm around her, and she was uncomfortable. I took it off, or she would put it off, and then she started talking to a guy. Waited till she was done talking to the guy, and then I exchanged phone numbers with her. And so I was like, all right, cool, I got this phone number. I'm cool. It was my first day of the workshop, and I felt like really cool because the other guys hadn't gotten numbers. And I got in the car, and Mystery's like, you fucked up. And he taught me cat string theory, which I'm sure you read about in the book, but I'm just going to say it so you guys can hear it. Because this is the sort of metaphor for flirting, which is, you know, a string dangling just out of reach above a cat's paws. The cat goes crazy, you know, freaking out trying to get the string. It'll do it forever till it's exhausted. But as soon as you drop that string in the cat's paws, it plays with it for a second, then walks away bored. Conversely, if the string is way too far out of reach and the cat can't even reach it, it also gets bored and walks away. So remember, you always want to be that string dangling just out of reach. You guys were falling into their paws sometimes, right? You think so? Especially you, because you got really hungry for it. You're like, I'm going to get a makeout. and then you started getting a little chasey. I saw you guys being a little grabby and touchy-feely. You know, zoning out. I saw you being a little bit grabby and touchy-feely with the girls. You know, I I want them to be grabbing you and you to be brushing their hands off. That's what I want to see. You guys all knew that when a girl touched you, you're supposed to say, hands off the merchandise. But how many times before that happened could you actually do it? It's hard to do it because it goes against your nature, because you're happy that you're getting the positive kino. But I want you just to be strong and be like, hey, hands off the merchandise. That'll be $30. Oops, you did it again. It's another $30. You must be rich. You know, how are you going to afford all this? But I want to see you guys doing that. I know I told some guys to do that. Did anyone do it? Anyone?
I did that. Yeah, I did that a couple times, but yeah, funny. I did that with a girl that I eventually did the dancing with. You know, but so yeah, I should have kept that up.
Yeah.
A little longer, at least.
Yeah.
I did it, and I did it wrong because it just felt totally unnatural when I did it.
Right. You do it with a smile, like you know.
Exactly.
If you do it like you have intimacy issues. It's weird. You do it with a smile. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like kind of a cocky, funny smile. You know what I mean? Like you're catching them, you're busting them, touching
That's
you,
what I did.
because they want you so bad, right?
All right.
You know, if you do it like you have intimacy issues, then it can be weird. So to me, all the attract material is done through pebbles, negs, the Las Vegas attitude, which is just having that status and that power and being so solid in yourself versus kind of coming over into their world. I think you have to work on body language. You know, all the time I see you leaning in, I see you slouching. You know, I think you know, you don't know what to do with your hands a lot of the time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just keep your hands at your side. It's not weird to have your hands at your side. I'd see you in the club like, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, yeah. So just, you know, yes, I want you to get all your clothes that are too big. Whenever you buy clothes, we'll talk about this later, get them a size smaller, okay? Just keep your hands at your side, you know? If you're really uncomfortable, you can kind of do that thing, you know what I mean? But I won't do it for that long. Don't have them in your pockets. Don't have them like kind of palsiated out here. I want you to work on body language. They always say, you know, looks, what I told you the other day about looks and status, that women are attracted to looks like they are to status. You know, we had the status there. When you walk into the club, have the status. And a little piece of the Las Vegas system is, why go sergeant to different clubs every night? You can go to hit up the same club every night. Go there the first 3 times and don't even try to meet women. Try to meet the managers, the waitresses. Don't hit on them, just demonstrate some value. Make friends with them. Tip them nicely, so when you go back, they treat you like a king. Go ahead.
Just for when we go home and we try to set that up, I'd love to get private tables. I just have no idea.
Don't do private tables was a special thing.
Yeah.
Here's what you do. You don't everything we're doing. You don't need any money, any looks, anything special to do. All you need is personality, right? So you choose your bar that you like. A guy named Stevie Pua has something he calls his tongue down bar. It's his bar where he takes girls to tongue down because it's nice. They're nice, a lot of couches, and it's a nice quiet area. So you choose your favorite tongue down bar, right? And start going there. Bring your friends. Tip nicely. You know, befriend the waitress. Run a routine on her, but don't hit on her. Just be friendly and cool. You know, meet the manager. Say you love this place. You got to bring your friends there. You know, win them over so when they walk in, everyone's like, Outback, you know, and they shake your hand. They're like, here's your table. You know, you don't need to get a special bottle table or anything like that. And, you know, so I just wanted it. The only reason we got the table, to be honest, is because I'm walking with 12 guys. I'm walking in a super LA VIP club full of, you know, 9s and 10s with 12 guys who I haven't even met yet, so I don't know what your guys are going to look like. You know what I mean? It could be 12 guys with pocket protectors or something for all I know. So I wanted to make sure that we didn't have to wait in line and could walk right inside. That's the only reason I do it. Otherwise, I don't recommend bottle tables, actually. You know, but I do recommend getting that social proof. Because why go to that new meat market every night where nobody knows you versus walking in where everybody knows you? And it doesn't have to be those crowded club. As long as there are women there, guess what? There could be 100 guys and 10 women. You guys have the tools to get those women. There could be just 5 women. You guys are going to do better than all those other guys, so it doesn't matter. So find your local club and make, as they call it, sergeing, meeting women, make it a cumulative effort. If you're just going out every night to different places, hitting up the bars, doing your routines, you're not building anything. What we're trying to do with this annihilation method is build a lifestyle and build a new you. So choose that place and make a local club like what we had last night and what we're going to have tonight. You know, how do I know the guys at Rock Bar? Well, I just went there a few times and I befriended them and they were cool. And they were cool enough to say, I'm bringing my friends over. We have a little money to spend, so they're going to give us the balcony. And hopefully we'll rule tonight like we did last night. But that's a good question. Ask questions like that because some of the pieces I haven't backward engineered, but I really think that's an important part of it. You know, that's why, that's part of value. So attraction. Throwing in pebbles, negs, the Las Vegas attitude, all those qualities that you're trying to embody, DHVs, challenges, hardcore push-pull, disqualification, cat string theory. I'm going to read those again. I'm going to go through it slowly a little bit. And these are the things I want to see you using tonight. Okay, these are the pieces that we're really going to focus on. Because once you guys add this stuff, you're going to be on fire. You're going to be on fire. You know, the difference is, you guys want to have in mind, you want to make her feel like she is winning you over. You know what I mean? Don't make her feel like she's got you. Make her feel like she's winning you over. And then when she wins you over, you can give her her reward, which is exchanging phone numbers or making out or going home or whatever that may be. You want to flip the script on that. Keep a running list. Good lines and responses. I have a list on my computer, as cheesy as this sounds, like 200 items long of funny lines and responses to questions I always get asked. So when you come up with a funny response, when you hear a funny line, when someone else says it, just write it down. And eventually that'll become you. A lot of the guys I know who are naturals and who are very funny with women, they always use the same lines. Like a friend of mine, if he sees a woman who is wearing a nice dress, I'll say, "I love that dress. Congratulate yourself." It's a nice little kind of arrogant line, and he uses it all the time. So it's not like we're weird because we've written down our lines and figured them out. Everyone else is always using the same material. They can't come up with a new clever thing to say in 1,000 interactions over the course of a few months. So also, I think body language is important. A lot of you guys, the whole push-pull idea, you don't need to do it with words all the time. You can do it with body language. Just really try this experiment tonight when you're talking with women. If she's sitting here, I saw a lot of you guys in like that, we're kind of leaning into her. I saw a lot of you guys, really, leaning into her, especially you, Zone. I saw you guys really leaning in and talking to the women. What I want you to do is just lean back, cross your legs away from her, and listen to her like that, and watch. She'll lean in toward you. And not only does that make her think that she's working harder for you, but everyone else in the club, too, will see, there's this woman who's sort of hitting on you. It's a big, big difference. So try that when you're talking also, cross your arms, uncross your arms. Play with that. Play with your body language. We talked about calibration. So play with your body language and see how it affects her. I saw you guys really, if I didn't know you guys and I looked in from a picture window, I'd see some guys who were getting a lot of attention from women, but were pretty excited by it also. Which makes sense, man. It's your first night out. I was not that good my first night. This stuff took me 3 months till I felt even competent at the beginning stages. So you guys these are not criticisms, these are just your pointers for tonight. You're already far ahead of the curve. So I'm just going to give you guys a few examples of some of the attract material you want to pump in tonight. I just wrote these this morning based on watching your guys' behavior. So examples are push-pull, are making a positive comment to her, saying something nice, and then withdrawing it with saying, "But I don't know you well enough," or "Too bad you're not my type," or "I'm not so sure I can trust you," or any of the other pebbles that were on that list from yesterday. So you say something cool like, "I love your style, you're totally my type, but I don't think I can trust you." Name 3 qualities about yourself that would make, whatever you're going to say. So you want to be pushing and pull, keeping them off their balance. It's almost like a martial art in a way. If you're continually pushing your opponent, well, he's just going to resist your push. But if you're pushing, then you let go, he's going to fall into you, right? So I'm not saying it's an opponent or martial arts or anything like that, but that people respond to mixed messages. I always be giving her mixed messages, so she never knows whether you like her or not. She doesn't know where you stand or not. I was telling Rourke at the end of the night, because he kept chasing this girl, just go hardcore. Say, "I hate you," then "I love you." Mix it up. How did that work when you did that? I think you kind of ran in and did it too excited.
Yeah, otherwise just fucked up.
Right, and you got to say each thing like you mean it. You're improv, you're an actor on the stage. You got to sell these lines. You can't just speak the words. You got to sell the lines and the attitude that comes with those, because it's about that Las Vegas thing. It's about that congruence. It's about being authentic. When you say, "Too bad you're not my type," if you're leaning, it's like, "Too bad you're not my type," and you're giving it away. You're like, "Nah, too bad you're not my type," and you turn away. It's a big difference. So you got to sell every comment you make with the body language.
I did that last night. It was perfect.
Tell me.
The girl with the black shirt that I wound up dancing with and whatever. I started talking to her and she said she was a cheerleader, and I told you guys that's kind of like my ideal. I really like cheerleaders. So as soon as she told me that, I go, oh, get out of here. I can't even talk to you now. And I completely turned like this, and I just started talking to whoever was sitting next to me, and just waited and figured, I don't know, fuck it. If I blow this, well, I blow this. I don't care.
What happened?
And she like opened me back up, and she like tapped me. She was like, hey, ask me some other question or something.
Right.
And then I was like, yeah. So I kind of like turned around. I was talking to her, but then I was leaning back. I made her work for it in the beginning a lot more.
Yeah.
I would never have done that before.
Yeah.
Like that was totally. I was just playing to see what would happen.
Right. That's awesome. That's great. It's perfect.
This is called flirting, but it's different flirting than what most guys do. I mean, the whole point of flirting is to build attraction, and the way most guys do it, it's kind of the anti-attraction.
Right.
This is, it makes it more fun.
Yeah.
For both of us, for both parties.
Most guys are like flirting is making a sexual comment and seeing if she responds positively.
Right.
Yeah.
And if there's no rapport, that can backfire pretty easily. So
Yeah.
if you're building attraction already, then
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that was the hook point. That was
Right.
where I really couldn't lose after that.
Right. That's cool. That's cool. Zone, I'm just going to pick on you a little bit. I want to see good body language all the time from you. Okay? Just becomes much better.
Right.
Big difference. You guys see it a little bit? Like, and legs uncrossed? Yeah, I think that is your biggest sticking point. And once you get that down with, everything's going to flow really well. So just become self-correcting with that all the time. So if I notice it, I'm just going to pick on you a little bit. You all want you to be smarter. No, just kidding. So other things that you're going to, because you want to do exactly what Wise Guy did. Other little pieces you're going to want to throw in. I just made a list based on watching your errors last night. After hitting the hook point, of course, is when you're no longer, when they want you around, when they start liking you. I think we hit the hook point with the 3 Latin or Asian girls that you brought over. We hit the hook point because, they're comfortable on our set. The Swedish girls that came over, they came over, they weren't so sure. Then we hit the hook point once they wanted to stay. The hook point is when they want to keep you around. So after hitting that, then you do a takeaway. Once you hit the hook point and they're hooked, guess what? You can do what you want. You got the little bit of control now. You can do a little sort of a mini verbal takeaway like that. We wouldn't get along, you're moving too fast kind of thing to get them to chase you once you hit that hook point. Guys get excited, they're like, I'm in, and they pounce on her. Instead, back off and she'll pounce on you. You hit the hook point and she's into you right then. What happens if you turn back to you and start talking and say, you know what, man? I got to sit here with my friend Outback. You would love him. He works with dolphins for a living. He's a fascinating guy. You got to meet him. How would she feel if you started trying to set her up with your friend when she was into you? Yeah. Or just say, or even just something simple like, you know what, I can't talk to you anymore. You're bad news. Once you hit the hook point, to me, that's when the game gets fun. Because now you can throw in all these pieces. Before, we're just struggling, like, please like us, please pay attention to us, please think we're special. Once they like us and pay attention to us and think we're special, that to me is when the game really begins. And you can throw out all this fun stuff and they're just going to respond so well. I'd like to see you guys throwing that stuff in once you hit the hook point. Another way of sort of getting attraction is making a quick succession of opposing comments. Oh my God, I always fall for Southerners. I hate you. Let's get married. Right now, that's it. I'm breaking up with you. That's awesome. We have to renew our vows right now. No, we're divorcing, and this time it's final. But we can't divorce. What about our grandchildren? All 17 of them are going to be so sad. And then, and then let's get plots next to each other. No, we got to get separate plots. I'm mad at you. I'm going to another cemetery. Take it as far as you want. I just made, whatever. I was just writing it this morning. But give a quick and you don't want to do it that fast, but you can do all that in 5 minutes. You can take them through that whole cycle. I like you, I hate you, we're getting together, we're breaking up, we're getting married, we're getting remarried, we're getting divorced, we're, separating, I get the cat, you get the kids, but I get the TV and you get this, and let's get back together, and we can't hurt our grandchildren, and, they hate those butterscotch toffees you leave in that little tin by the table that annoys them. What are you thinking? And et cetera, et cetera. Just take it as far as you want and keep pushing and pulling and pushing and pulling the whole time. And you can put them right back next to each other. Oh my God, I love you. I hate you. You know what? You can put it right next to each other. It's fine. It just sends their heads spinning. And after a while, though, you'll find this thing that sometimes it's almost like they almost get, like you see like in a Peanuts cartoon where like somebody gets hit by a hammer and like they got stars around their head. Well, they'll sit there staring at you, waiting for you to do something next because they're so like kind of in awe or off guard. And I like it also. Did anyone use the line respect last night? Like when you get in a verbal volley? What happened?
Some very attractive friend of the girl that Indiana opened, and so we were talking, and she was trying to show me her jewelry, and I said, "Look, I have the best necklace in the whole club. This is the most special necklace in the whole club. So don't even talk to me about your necklaces." And she was like, "No, no, no," and I was like, "No, no, no," and then she said, "These are my brother's ashes." And she pulled up a necklace with a little cross and things on it. And I was just like, respect.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to her and her friend. I think her brother had just died a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and it made her get kind of very spiritual.
Yeah.
And it's deep, man. Like, you go out there and you find out about people. And they're interesting. And they're deep. And they're going through a lot. And it's cool to make that connection with people. You know, because they've been through a lot and they want to have a nice discussion and meet some interesting people. Everyone's different.
I would have probably, before this preparation, I would have just stopped and been flummoxed and couldn't have talked past that point.
Yeah.
But I said that, it closed the conversation very well, and we moved on to something else, and it was just fine.
Right. That's nice. It's funny because I'm the same as you guys. I'm always kind of learning stuff for fun. I talked with Mystery the other day, and he goes, "Whenever I tell girls I eat little girls like you for breakfast, they'll say, 'Well, I eat you for lunch.' He goes, 'Then I'll say I'm full.'" I'm like, that seems like a weird response. If I say I eat girls for breakfast, you really say, "Well, I eat you for breakfast," or something? And that happened. Like, I was talking to a girl, and I said, "I eat girls like you for breakfast." I just decided I'd try out his line. She goes, "Well, I eat guys like you for lunch." I said, "That's okay, I'm full." Even though I don't even think it makes sense, but she started laughing. And it's like, okay, then that works. You know, I'm always learning too. All the guys, all the best people, Mystery, Ross Jeffries, myself, what have you, we're always learning from each other and adding it to increase our game. You know, Ross is studying Mystery method. Mystery will take some pieces of Ross. I'll take whatever they can give me. Nobody ever gets so good that they can't learn more. Yeah, you know, constantly accuse them of being trouble or being the kind of woman that your mother warned you about, you know, or tell them that you're going to break their heart and sleep with their friends. You know, constantly, I want to see you guys throwing in these pieces today. I want to see you throwing these teasing, push-pull, cocky, funny pieces, you know, as well as physical humor. She's going to light a cigarette, take the cigarette out of her mouth and pretend like you're going to throw it across the club. You know, tell her, you know, if she wants you to pass something, make her work for it for a little bit. You know, say, "Oh my God, your purse is gone," when it isn't gone. You know, like, maybe you don't want to go to that extreme, but the point is to be that childhood bully who always teased them in the playground. You want to be that guy. When you're touching her early on, don't try and cop a feel. Don't think you're getting somewhere because you're hugging her or touching her. You're just becoming one of those club guys. So if you touch her to tease her. You know, swing her around. Pick her up. A friend of mine does this. I've never done it because obviously most girls weigh more than me, sadly. But a friend of mine does a great move, which you can do if you're bigger than me, which is that he'll actually pick her up, put her down, say 120 pounds. He'll pick her up and weigh her and he'll take a guess. It's funny as shit. And it works as like a nag, but it's also like very kind of alpha male humor. So if you're touching her early on, you're doing it to tease her, you know. He also does this amazing move, and I haven't figured it out yet, but he actually flips girls. It's the most amazing thing, and you can see their whole thing change. He'll take them, I think he puts one arm here, I don't know how to do it, like that, and flips them around, and they land back on their feet. He won't do it at all. He'll say, "Hey, let's dance," and he'll swing around a little bit, then he'll just flip them, and they become a new person afterward. It's just like the adrenaline and the blood to their head, you know, and it's not like grabbing their ass or you know, trying to put their arms around them. It just totally puts them in shock. I call it alpha kino. It's like kino is touch, alpha is sort of like very strong alpha male touch. So, you know, any touching early on should be to kind of to tease her or play with her, not to cop a feel. I saw a lot of feel copping last night. Rourke. So, you know, and also David D'Angelo's attitude of cocky funny. It's a good thing just to have in your mind all the way through it. And the cocky funny, the basic principles are she's hitting on you, she's messing up her chances with you. You know, act as if you're the 10, you're the sexual object. You know, anything she says is inconvenience you. Of course she wants you. You know, she's moving too fast. All those ideas. I'm going to start teaching you some DHVs now. You guys were kind of hungry for those, right? So I'm going to teach you some DHVs very quickly because I want you to practice them on some of the girls that come over. After you do the fashion and style consultation, or maybe even before, it might pair you off. And if you do some of these things. I might have done some of these to them already, so. If I have, just say, yeah, Neil taught it to me. Probably have, actually. Exactly. And that was just improvised because I understood the structure. You know, there's a line where you always say, ew, your hands are wet. I thought, oh, I would say that, then her hands weren't wet. So I'm like, they're dry. You know, because when you understand the ideas that they work behind, you can just come up with your own material in the field. She's coming over too. The best friends test. You guys feel, hey, party time. All right, we'll continue with DHVs later. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them do the fashion and style, then I'm going to break them off somewhere separately and teach you guys in private. You can practice. What's up? Hey guys, coming over. You guys are just going to talk for 3 minutes outside. Just relax and be yourselves. We want not just cool, but we also want them to stand out.
Yeah.
You know, in other words, you want to make them into like the perfect generic guy. You want them to stand out and be eye-catching.
Yeah, but
So
you have to go with what they would wear. Because like sometimes like I put on the outfit she would wear and I'm like, I'm not comfortable with
Right, they have to wear the
Yeah.
clothes. The clothes can't be
Yeah.
wearing
Yeah.
them. I agree with that.
Yeah.
You also want to
I'm
like
big
give
on
them
that.
something that takes it one step further. Like for a big fat guy, say for example, who we don't have. If there was, I want him to like dress in it, look like the club owner.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Good,
Look like the power
down
thing with a
jacket.
gold watch and a nice
Yeah.
jacket
Yeah.
and rings, you know?
Like a guy like Tony.
Yeah,
My
exactly.
name's Tony.
And then you can carry around that
I'm
weight
Italian.
like it's
Yeah.
power instead of like
Yeah.
a detritus.
It's like
Those,
you're the big teddy bear.
right, those ideas, exactly.
Very cool. And so, you having fun?
I'm having a blast. How about you? Having fun?
I'm having fun.
Cool.
So, anything in particular like that you do around here that you like to do?
Can you guess?
No.
Come on, 1 in 12.
August?
No. Close though.
Really? April?
No.
Okay, then I have no idea.
What if I told you I was a Libra? Would that matter? Would you know?
Then wouldn't you be in like September?
October.
October. Okay.
What makes you different? I mean, why would I want to be with you? What 3 things? Why would I want to be with you?
Wow. It's a good question. I guess I'm just more laid back. I am very West Coast in that sense. Like most New Yorkers are a little neurotic, but I'm just very laid back.
Right.
So I
can
guess that
tell.
would be one. I don't know. I'm level-headed. Like I know where I came from.
You came from Texas. And
Yeah, like but coming from Texas is completely different than. I think LA. I'm not like saying anything bad about LA, but coming from Texas, I'm a little bit more. I don't get caught up in things, and I think sometimes people who move to LA, they get a little caught up in the scene and the.
This is the new.
This is pleather?
Yeah, it's the new leather.
I don't wear that, so I don't like it.
You don't? Well, I'm just telling you, it's in this year. You watch out. Pleather 2006.
I'll look out for it.
You remember my name when
plain
you see it
jeans.
on the billboards on Sunset.
Watch out.
That's
In your
right.
face too, and just modeling them.
No, it won't be me. I won't be the model there, but there'll be pleather up there.
And then what do you do? Like, what's your profession or?
Military defense, work on the B-2 stealth bomber.
Okay.
Just work on that and test it and everything. It's pretty cool.
That's cool. Are you originally from Binghamton or? did you-
Originally Buffalo,
Buffalo.
yeah, and moved to Binghamton for the job there, Lockheed Martin, and been there ever since.
Yeah,
It's a nice area. It's
Yeah.
good for outdoor type stuff, which I love. Kayaking, mountain biking, even skiing, snowboarding, that kind of stuff. So
I love to snowboard.
So why don't we start? Let's see. Well, I saw you talking to Wise Guy or Craig over there. So just tell me your first impressions of you, and before he opened his mouth, your first thoughts.
Like before anything was communicated, like before we said anything.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, he's like good looking.
Right. Okay.
That was like first thought.
Well, we're not going to style and fashion yet, too. We'll just
Okay.
that's fine. Good looking is fine. That's your first thought. That's your first
Yeah.
impression. We'll do body language and
Yeah.
communication. But go ahead.
I felt like I had to work really hard
Uh huh.
to like, oh,
No, you're doing fine. You're doing great. You are breathing.
I felt like I had to work really hard, and that he kind of just sat down and was like expected me to like talk.
Right.
And it felt like even when I was listening to him, I couldn't really fully listen because I was like, okay, what's the next thing I need to say to keep this conversation going so there's not awkward silence?
Right. So you felt like you kind of had to carry the weight.
Yeah.
Right.
Not to say that when we did start talking, it wasn't great, and that he had like interesting things to say.
Right.
But I did feel like I had to like really initiate it and keep it going so that it wouldn't get really uncomfortable.
Yeah. Cool. And what about it? Did he seem comfortable when you were talking to him? Uncomfortable? What was your other thoughts? Other first
Well, I think his body language really went along with the way we had our conversation because he was like sitting back in the chair. His legs were like spread. I can't really do that, but kind of like expecting like me to. It was almost too comfortable, or like.
It's almost like an exaggerated pose of comfort or something like that.
Which made me feel really uncomfortable because it was like, oh, okay, we need to start talking now.
So in other words, you felt like you like your first impression was good, but then you talked to him and felt like, well, is this guy interesting or not? Am I comfortable with him? You didn't feel like you got those.
Yeah, I didn't feel like he wanted to talk to me at all.
Right.
Because like I had to do all the talking. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. So it was like that dating show. Afterward, would you see him again? Not yet, because he wasn't kind of interesting or comfortable enough yet.
Right.
Which is fine. But it was a very forced situation because you're sitting over there in their camera, so that's all right. And so you talked to who'd you talk to first?
Me?
Yeah.
Red shirt.
To Red Shirt.
Velveteen Rabbit.
To Velveteen Rabbit. So tell me your first impressions before he even opened his mouth. Your first impressions.
When I first walked out, he was casual. You were good at walking and you were good at conversation, you were, but a little bit of it, you got a little kind of shy and tried to walk away. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was because you couldn't think of three things that really.
Yeah, and that was a pretty intense question as well, too. Like when you first meet someone, that's kind of something that, because he asked me what 3 things I thought about myself, like why you'd want to date me, not just because I was pretty. Which I know the way you worded it, but some girls would have taken offense to that because it was a little.
It was too early.
It was too early, and it was kind of like, you're a pretty girl, but why would I want to date you? Like, it was a little, like, I know you didn't mean it because you're a very sweet guy, so you didn't mean it rude, but it just kind of comes, so be careful with that question. Just a little FYI. But other than that, the conversation was, it was easy. You looked in the eye. You weren't really looking around, which was good, so.
Did you feel like it was comfortable?
It was comfortable, and he asked questions, and he's a journalist, so I could really tell that you were listening to what I was saying.
Right. And
which was good.
And how about just body language?
Body language was fine. There was a little bit of a swaying, and sometimes you'd look away, but you were easy to talk to. You were very easy to talk to.
So give us some other constructive feedback.
The constructive was some of the questions were a little too intense, and then sometimes you would look a little bit around, like, and then other than that you were. And then the walk away thing was a little dismissive, kind of like, I don't know if I'd want to talk to you later. Do you know what I mean? And
to me, just so you know, that's like a little club. It's sort of a little bit something you do in like the club game because, in other words, sometimes you're going to force somebody to feel a little bit uncomfortable because then you want to break that and get them comfortable again because it takes them a little bit of an emotional journey.
Exactly. So it was good, but then it was it came after kind of a intense, kind of rude question, and then you like walked away. It would have been better if you made like a joking question and then did it kind of like, I'm not being, a dick, but a little bit it would have kind of jokingly, if you would have said it maybe jokingly, it would have been better, but it was kind of more intense how you said it, and I was a little bit like, ooh.
Right.
I think a little bit more smile.
Yeah, a little bit more smile than a little bit intense. And that is something you do is you don't really like lighten up a little bit. Your face is I know you're listening, but sometimes I know you're listening a little too much and your face doesn't lighten up a little bit. You like a little bit facial features.
Yeah, I think a lot of things are energetic.
Yeah.
And like they're guys who have charisma and radiate it and kind of let you bask in that sort of glow. Other guys are sort of receded with their energy.
Yeah, and you had charisma in your conversation, but your face was very just the same.
He's an intelligent, sweet guy.
Same. Yes.
But it doesn't always show in the exterior.
So.
Johanna and Outback.
He's a sweetheart. I just asked him a bunch of questions. He didn't really ask me that many questions, but I always tend to, ask a lot of questions. So,
what was your
but
first
he
impression
answered.
before he even opened his mouth?
Nice, sweet guy, whatever.
Well, just say you were out or something, or in a club or something, you saw him, what would you think?
At a club,
I'm just saying, let's just say it's a stranger on the street, you always form first impressions, so you just thought, well, that's a nice guy, you didn't pay him any special attention, just a regular guy.
Right, he said he was talking about he hangs out a lot at like coffee shops, and I guess if I'd see him, just somebody who reads a lot of books, maybe like a professor,
Right.
something like that. Somebody really, smart
And once you were talking with him, did he seem comfortable? Did he seem forced, awkward?
Comfortable, not at all, not forced. Mm-mm.
How was his body language?
It was chill. It didn't.
After
I didn't.
like I leaned in a little too much.
Right. I was saying that if you're first meeting someone and they're a stranger, right? If you're sitting right up on them, you're leaning over like that, it makes them uncomfortable. If you're kind of, back and you stand up straight and you talk, it makes them a little more comfortable. So I was saying to almost lean away when you're meeting a stranger, so they lean into you, versus kind of leaning right into them and getting in their face.
Okay.
So did you feel like you were being crowded by body language at all, or
I thought I was leaning more forward than he was.
Right.
But,
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else constructive you can tell him? In other words, you left the interaction, because everyone forms a lot of first impressions.
Right.
How do you leave the interaction feeling?
Well, he should sort of show more interest in whoever he's talking to, because if I sort of am talking to somebody, I tend to ask a lot of questions, and if I'm not stopped, then I keep on going. So he should sort of lean in and
So you
ask
felt like you
more
were pulling the
questions.
weight again?
Huh?
You felt like you were pulling the weight again?
Yeah.
And let's just say afterward, let's say you exchange phone numbers, and he called you. He said, "Let's go out for coffee."
Mm-hmm.
What would you do? Never mind. No, but that makes sense, because we just talked. You asked some questions. You didn't really demonstrate any value or any reason why you want to call him back. Like I always tell the guys after an interaction, you should leave the interaction knowing why she's going to call you back.
Yeah.
Leave that because you're so fascinating, or so cool, or so interesting, or do that cool thing, whatever it's going to be.
When we were talking, I was asking you questions, and then I thought, am I talking this guy's ear off, and would kind of break a silence, and you wouldn't initiate much conversation, and I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like I had to carry a lot of the weight. But other than that, very sweet guy, I definitely, I don't know how to explain it. It was interesting. Sorry.
Let me ask you some better questions.
Yeah.
First impression before he even opened his mouth. What do you think?
I thought you were dressed nice. I really liked the blazer.
I don't worry about the clothes. Just as a human being.
Sorry. You presented yourself really well.
So you thought he was a nice guy, a mean guy, a shy guy, a nerdy guy, a cool guy?
I thought he was kind of a cooler guy, more reserved, kind of mysterious would be the way to explain it.
And how was his body language?
Your body language was good. The way you respectfully sat. I felt like I didn't feel like you were in my face, and I didn't feel like I was far away from him.
Did he make you comfortable when you talked to him?
Yeah, he made me feel comfortable, but he made me feel like he was really a quiet guy.
Right.
So yeah.
And what do you feel about you talk to someone, you kind of make judgments about their character or their person, kind of on the deeper level, even though you didn't talk about it. What do you feel about him as a person?
I definitely felt like he was a sweet guy.
Yeah, so do I. I think he's a sweet guy.
Yeah.
I do. Look at that smile.
You were a really sweet guy. I almost felt to be perfectly honest, I would have had a much better conversation with this guy if there wasn't a camera.
Right. Oh yeah, the camera was weird. I almost thought there should be there. Kind of ran out, so I'm like, okay.
But then we were standing over here. This is after the cameras, and I kind of felt like when we started talking about what you did, and we talked about why you got into it. It's he asked the right questions. You know what I mean? That made me think he was interested, and he wasn't being put, I never felt uncomfortable. I didn't feel like he was,
And your impressions of Indiana?
Indiana, yes. Indiana's first, can I demonstrate how we talked the whole time?
Please demonstrate.
Okay, this is the only thing that really bothered me the whole
Okay.
time we were talking, because the conversation went well.
Right.
But it was literally like,
I'm Indiana?
you're me.
I'm you.
Okay, and this is how you talked, like this, but it was kind of like you were looking, but you didn't look at me. So I felt like almost if we would have been in a club, I seriously probably would have walked away, because I would have been like, he's really looking for someone better to talk to.
Right.
And that's kind of so like you just have to realize like eye contact is very important to a person. And I think like, the camera was awkward, but it was like really, the conversation went well. It really did. You were easy to talk to, and the camera was a little nervous, but I feel like if there would have been no camera, we would have been like fabulous. And then you did this hand thing too. And I know that when I get nervous, I do this thing. Like I do this. So I know it's kind of the same thing, but just be aware of the little hand.
What was he doing with his hand?
It just kind of shakes, but I do that too. When I get nervous, I kind of do this, and I know it, like I know how it is. But it was just the eye contact thing really just killed me. It was just like literally, and it wasn't even just the eye contact, but it was your whole body was faced away.
Right.
And be aware of body contact, because to a girl, it really looked like, who can I talk to that's better, because this girl's not cool.
Right.
So just be aware of that. And it's more the face thing than the hand thing. I didn't really notice, but if you would have been facing me, I probably would not have noticed the hand at all. But it was just the whole...
But I will tell you, and again, to break it down a little bit, like in a club, in one of those kind of, or a bar, or even a cafe, or those high-octane environments, if a guy comes up and he instantly gives you all his attention right there, well, that's a nice thing that you want in someone who's your friend. When you meet a stranger, I kind of feel like you want to give a little bit of distant body language until they sort of earn your trust and respect.
Yeah.
And kind of veer toward them.
And it was just hard though that we talked for 3 minutes like that.
Right.
Did not move and kind of get a little engaged. It was more like we talked for straight 3 minutes with you.
I think it's also the way you do it too, versus sort of being casually turning in like that, versus sort of being uptight.
Kind of like straight and kind of just like looking, which I understand looking around, like that's not as big a deal, but it was the whole way you faced, and kind of like I can see kind of walking up to someone and being a little bit like hi, like kind of like a little not straight on, but it was more like you were like hi and then talking and
like talking to somebody else over there, looking at.
So just be aware of that. But I do understand this kind of like when I talk to someone, I'm more like this.
Right, exactly.
I'm open, but not like.
Right, especially when you meet a strange guy in the club.
Exactly. So, but other than that, it was like your conversation went well. You did ask questions, and I would ask you a question, then you would ask me a question, and we talked about small town. And so we did do well in conversation.
But to me, I think what I'm getting overall is I think first impression. These guys went out last night and like they tore out the club. You would not believe it, but they were awesome. But that said, is they worked and they got it going on.
Yeah.
But first impressions are important. And there's certain guys you can meet, and you would meet them for 3 minutes and know that you wanted to talk to them or hang out with them again. These guys somehow, in some way, didn't communicate that yet. Maybe if you had 5 or 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, they would have shown enough, and you would have wanted to hang out with them. These guys didn't do it in 3 minutes. I think there's a way they can. So as we're talking about fashion, clothing, and things, discuss body language, personality, energy, interests, things that would help them communicate that. Because I think any one of these guys is capable of actually sitting down with you for 3 minutes and expressing enough personality to make you want to say, yeah, I would hang out with that guy again.
Yeah,
so I think about that
for
a
sure.
little bit. So we'll do fashion. Let's see if Lisa wants to come. I don't know this one.
I think she came down.
Lisa, you want to do some fashion? Wait. What I want you guys to think about as like they're talking fashion is not just, oh, no pleats, oh, this and that, or oh, they're talking about zone and not talking about me. Fashion has certain rules, just like going out there and socially interaction.
Yeah, fashions come and go, exactly. And this will always be true.
Right, but the idea is always the same. The conceptions between what's a quality pair of pants and what's not is always the same. And by watching these, you can pick up on those patterns. Like I didn't know anything about shoes. When I first met Lisa, she took me to a place, awesome shoe store, and pointed out that I said, show me good shoes, show me bad shoes. And then gradually I figured out the pattern, and now I know what a good shoe is.
You get what you pay for. I'd rather pay a lot for a really good pair of shoes than have a whole bunch of crap. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is watch the overall structure of fashion, the idea, so you can break it down and figure it out for yourself. You fit into my smalls, dude. Even though you're 6'1", you fit into my smalls. You wear your stuff way too big. The smaller you are, the tighter you want it to be.
Yeah, you want to be tailor fit because it just, shows that you have. It actually makes your clothes look more expensive too when they're fit more proper. It's also kind of frat boy to wear your kind of clothes oversized, and you're not in college. You know what I mean? You don't need to dress like that. So I say more tailored clothes, and just keep your lines small. Let me see the tops of your pants.
Tops of the pants?
Yeah, that has pleats. Forget pleats. You have to get flat front pants only. Okay, flat front means there's no pleats and nothing that bags it out.
I also think, what do you think? What are you laughing?
We're talking about shoes.
I think too, though. I think that like with you, the red shirt. I mean, it's just like, I think maybe you need to break up if you have solid pants. Maybe throw in like a striped shirt. Yeah, or do all black. But the corduroy and the pants, it's the textures just don't go like well together.
Right. So I'm gonna pause too, and also, and we'll go to the details in 1 second. But one thing too, I think everyone has a look that suits them. Because in addition to the details, and I want to break down all those details about the shoes so they understand. So before that, I want to take a good look at Zone and think about how would this guy look the best.
Suits.
I was telling suits. Okay. I was telling these guys that when you go out as a guy, you don't need to be good looking. You don't need to be. All you need to be is well groomed and belong to a tribe. People are tribal. You want to belong to a tribe that she either feels like she's part of, wants to belong to, or wants to visit. You know. So if you're a rocker and you see a guy with tattoos and like a, kind of lazy sort of half mohawk, and, well, that he belongs to your tribe. Maybe even a secretary, you want to visit that tribe for a little while. So, we were talking about if a guy's really, really fat, he should put on just a power suit, little jewelry or watch, and then, his tribe is a power tribe and people want to belong to that. So right now, his tribe is,
I agree with her. The suits. I think you would do well in suits.
Okay,
with even a full-on like suit and tie. I think you would do well with that.
But we're not talking like an office suit. We're talking. Explain what we're talking about. A really tapered suit.
A very fitted. That's one thing that you should just. That like a suit is something you can't either like that you have to spend a lot of money on, and it would be like you would need one, and you could just find like not as expensive shirts to wear underneath it. But I think even like maybe even like a gray suit or something a little bit. You don't have to do full on black. You could do like a nice light gray would be nice, and you can make those casual and dressed up.
You're lucky, man. You're a slim guy, and you're tall.
Yeah.
So you don't realize that you've got it all. So if you can wear like a cool, slim, fitted shoe, like Lisa says, a cool English, slightly mod cut, it would look badass. And what are some other pieces besides just the suit? Because that wouldn't be enough. What about hair, facial hair?
Yeah, you have little spots that. No, in the back, yes.
The gray.
So pay attention, I would just dye it. I would dye.
It'd be easy to put a rinse over your hair if you wanted to, and you should cut down your hair a little bit shorter than we did.
Yeah.
And also got to say, if you're white and you're balding, get a tan.
Definitely.
And there's your answer right there.
Yeah, get a tan.
That she works in a tanning salon, so tell them about, because guys think spray tans are cheesy. I don't like doing a tanning bed.
Either mistake, but even like tanning, as long as you do it in moderation and you don't overdo it, then it'll look good. It makes you look healthier.
You absolutely want a healthy look.
It makes a huge difference.
You don't look healthy, and healthy conveys so many things. So you want to look healthy, and a tan is a shortcut. Just start with a spray tan. And it doesn't, get Mystic, that's the only good brand, I think, that doesn't make you turn orange. So just go to Mystic, it's super easy, get it on a light color, and it really do wonders. I just want you to do it right now.
Another thing I was going to say, his posture. He needs to sort of, even if he's going to wear something, he needs to wear it. If the clothes are going to wear him, then...
And when you wear a suit, you naturally stand taller anyway because you're also in a structured suit. Make sure shoulders look squared off and you actually sit better. Whenever I'm in a heel, I always end up sitting a little nicer or whatever, So that will help if you get a more tailored, slim cut. You won't be so ridiculously relaxed in your,
Right.
Like when I'm wearing sweatpants, I definitely have a different look than when I'm wearing a skirt.
So your new character is this. You are in a 60s movie. In a 60s cool movie, there's the journalist who comes in for the interview and he's very suave. He's maybe smoking a cigarette, even because that was cool in the 60s and they didn't know it caused diseases. But if you were, you'd be smoking a cigarette, you'd be in a very tailored suit. You'd look as much like this, better dressed than the star you're interviewing. You'd sit down, you'd cross your legs, you'd be very mannered. That's what I want you to be. I want you to be that guy. And I think you can be that guy really easily. And you honestly go shopping for 2 days and be this guy. And it's who you really are. Yeah. And last thing, shoes and cuffs of pants you wanted to talk about?
The shoes... They're not the best thing for your...
They're invisible shoes, which is fine, whatever, but I say a more modern, maybe a skirt off the edge in the front a little bit more.
That's what I see also,
Yeah, just like maybe more of a skirt.
Yeah. It sounds superficial, but if a guy has good taste in shoes, that speaks a lot about the way he's going to dress in general, because it's a little detail.
So make the investment in the shoe. I say just go for the money, get the Gucci, don't even...
Cool. All right, Jeff. Indiana.
All right.
My big thing is your eyes are so pretty.
Does he have the best eyes?
You have the best, play your eyes up, and I know that's the first thing I noticed when you came out. Your eyes are gorgeous. You need to play those up.
Right.
Okay. I know you
That's-
do
If
that.
I
Get your eyebrows shaped. Yeah.
Tan,
Tan,
maybe like
definitely.
work the blues, like you know how like
Right.
blondes like the blue, like you have the prettiest eyes. Like you can play with like the blues, the purples. You can do colors, like much more than like he couldn't do. You could do so much like with colors.
And
So
I think she's right about the cool colors. I say the blue stuff like that, just so it will just draw attention to your eyes.
and here's
Your hair
my
looks good to me.
here's the main overall thing for you. Partly what we told Zone, which is I want you in suits, but with like a punk edge.
Yeah.
Because
Like
Here,
that.
show it.
It's funky.
Here's the
You're
difference.
like, I'm in a suit, but I'm still
Yeah.
really cool.
But
It's-
it should also fit his personality a little bit. Otherwise, the clothes are wearing him instead of him wearing the clothes.
Right.
And you
But
want
I,
to be.
but I want you to see as a person, as well as how you dress, I want to see you be a little more playful.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because you are like that as
That's a
inside.
good picture.
So I want you to be like the. I'm trying to think of like the character because it's easy to give him a character.
Not quite.
It's not like the club promoter. It's like a. You know what? You're the like it's almost like a fashion designer. He's like dressed cooler than everybody else. That's not quite it. You know?
No, it's more like small town metro. Like you're metro, but you're not like full on like metro. It's more like you just put that together, and that's just how you are. Like
Okay.
you're a little bit more like cooler, but it's like I know because we are both from like small towns. I know how like you got to be a little careful, like you do, and I feel like you could just, you know, like put it together, like just the colorful shirts and just the kind of I don't really care. I just threw this on.
You know what I
this
see?
Is how I
Here's
am.
the character. Rock star at a premiere.
Yeah, I was thinking like
Yeah, he looks because you
actor in the
You
club.
got a great face. You got a great shaped face. You got great eyes. You're the rock star, the actor who's normally like a scruffy, you know, troublemaking, dirty guy. He's not in the trenches, but you're kind of dressed up. So you've kind of got this brute macho force. You're hiding between kind of some nice, fun, playful clothes.
Right.
So I want you to
I
be
see you wearing total suit, but wearing like Pumas with them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Or like even like a hoodie underneath the
Yeah.
suit would be cool.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the
that-
hoodie
love it.
under the
Love it.
That's great. I just saw that.
Yeah.
Those are
It's like a hoodie under a suit and like a t-shirt that,
Yeah.
and then like
Yeah.
you know cool like Asics or just tennis shoes.
Right.
You could wear like
Casual,
cuffs
cool.
too.
Like Adidas sneakers with the suit, and then like a t-shirt with a hoodie. Exactly.
Yeah,
Really
that's
nice.
exactly what it is.
So it's like youthful, but dressed up better.
It's
than
casual contemporary.
youthful.
Can I give him a little bit of
Bring
your background?
everything up to here.
He used to be 305 pounds.
No way.
No way.
And so he doesn't know that he's hot yet.
Right. So that will have to catch better.
You know how you're going to feel hot? When people start treating you like you're hot.
Right.
Right.
Then you're going to know it. And what about the posture? I mean, here's the thing.
I think the
Go ahead.
posture with the striped shirt will kind of give him an
A little bit of
added
alpha.
attitude.
Yeah.
So I think like the fact that you stand up straight with the right clothes could really work for you.
When,
Yeah.
when Indiana's not thinking, like last night at the club, once he started talking to a bunch of people, he looked really cool.
Yeah. he looks very
So
cool.
so the idea is, you need to be comfortable in your own skin. You're not conveying that you're comfortable in your own skin. Once you're talking to people and you're enjoying the conversation, bam, it all just falls into place.
Okay.
So you know, part of it is just not thinking about how you are, what you're looking. It's like getting out of your head.
Right.
I think rather as much as the tips, it's just letting go of thinking what are people thinking of you, how you're looking, how you're coming off. It's like
Right.
remembering what you're like with your best friends, what you're like with when someone is really into you, because you're not thinking about that stuff in your body language. I saw at the end of the night was great, whereas it's very stiff at first, and people are very mimetic. They mirror each other. If you're
Yeah.
stiff and uptight,
Oh, okay.
they're going to stiff and uptight. If you're relaxed, then you make them feel relaxed and comfortable to be with you.
Yeah.
So, you know, all right, everybody has, you know, I really think there are only like 10 different archetypes of guys.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
there's your raver, there's your rocker,
There's your
there's
raver.
your, you know, GQ guy, there's your, you know, fun party promoter guy, there's your drug dealer, your athlete. There's only 10 types that all guys fit into. All right, wise guy, come on up.
I say, you know, hip jeans that hang lower on your body.
Hang lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right there, but like the jeans, if they were a little bit longer, would make that outfit a lot better. You
Right.
know what I mean? It's like,
Don't be afraid of your jeans being slim, but also hanging a little bit lower.
Yeah.
And just make sure that the back of your jeans graze the floor. It should graze the floor. In fact, I don't even care where it'll step on.
Yeah.
That looks good to me.
yeah, he is more.
Do you want to be like J. Crew, like conservative guy, or are you more like looking to be edgier and like funkier and
Well, I'll
think
tell you
you're-
what. I don't think he should be J. Crew conservative guy because
Okay.
who wants to hang out with J. Crew conservative guy?
But I just think
I don't know. Some
sleek,
of those J. Crew guys are pretty
more designer would be nice, like a little sleeker, more designer. Like I think he could rock the True Religion jeans and a little like, sleeker stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think maybe just like you should just go for like kind of sleek, but not conservative. Like I'm uptight and I'm a stockbroker. Like a little bit more just.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So your guy is you're the actor guy in the club who's really not trying. So what you
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you
What-
have like track
what-
jackets and the like, you know, the
what we wanna
sleek,
do-
like kind of just like.
But what we want to do
sleeker.
is really expensive looking cheap clothes.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's almost like you want to get that. Hey, instead of getting that $500 suit, you're going to get that $90
They're
T-shirt.
actually,
Yeah.
they're actually cheap looking, expensive clothes.
Cheap looking expensive
There are,
clothes.
But I feel you guys don't have
So you're an
like
actor.
Zara
You're an
or
actor model who always has to look good all the time, and so when you go out, you're like, just let me relax and be myself.
You're still athletic and you're not too dressed up.
But here's the thing: he needs one other piece. In other words, if he's gonna go with the cool jeans, the nice T-shirt, he needs one thing letting you really know that he's cool.
New haircut.
All right, so I think what your look is. So we want something very simple and clean and cool. So we got really, all you need is like two T-shirts, two crew neck shirts, and you need T-shirts, 2 nice pairs of jeans, 1 awesome pair of shoes to start off with, wallet chain, and a couple of accoutrements that look nice, like a really kick-ass watch. We missed a few guys, but maybe we could talk to them afterward or something. I think you missed a few guys. But next, let's do Rourke.
Am I criticizing you?
You're critiquing it.
But I feel like the look's good.
But
I think your jeans are good. I think your shoes are good. I think that jacket's cool because it's not too structured, but you can make the sleeves are a little long.
But I say, like, let's have them amp it up.
Yeah,
I
it
think
could be tougher.
I think with everybody,
Okay.
let's take him to a little bit of a further extreme.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Really
so
agree.
to me, it's he could be the tender-hearted tugging.
Oh,
Like I look a lot like the Los Lobos guys. That guy to me.
And
But,
I think some cool necklaces would be cool on
Yeah,
you.
like-
Not like ghetto, but like cool just necklaces. I think you could
Can you turn around, please? Thank you. Yeah, your sleeves are really too long. That's all. I mean, everything else is really good.
All right, let me just try and mix it up a little because I really think he's got a really cool look. And I think if he did something and exaggerated it, he could really stand out in the club. Because I want these guys to walk in, everyone to turn their head and say, "Who is that guy? Like, who is that actor right there? And who is that hotshot, slick journalist with that cool mod look? And who is that? What band is that guy in? So when he walks in, what do we want them to say? We want them to say, "That's a powerful guy who controls people." Maybe.
Yeah.
His body language, though, is very tense. He plays with his thumb and forefinger often, and he rocks.
See, mine's good.
No, you do. You just have to just a little bit more relaxed. You have the whole rocking thing and this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that in a good way.
Sure,
by the
thank
way.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So let's see. I like the goatee thing.
Yeah.
I like that. You got a lot of energy in your face.
Yeah, I think are you Catholic or?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Catholic too. So I think you could rock the big cross, but you gotta get a nice one because you do not want one that's bling bling. Like that's not really doesn't seem like that's you. You're a little nicer. So I think you could rock a bigger, nicer cross that maybe a little bit more, just like not so silvery, like a little bit more like how his rings kind of.
More robust, maybe.
Yeah.
So what else should we wear? Should we wear jackets with t-shirts underneath? What else?
You
should
could
we
wear
wear?
like a leather jacket. I think
Yeah, a little
you
leather.
could also wear like a pinstripe suit, like
Yeah.
things that
Okay.
Italian mobster.
All right, this is
not
your thing.
cheesy
You're
with
the
satin.
club owner who possibly is into some shady activities.
Yeah.
See?
A little mysterious, like a little mysterious dressing, I think would work for your advantage.
Right, and for any guy listening, these are these characters. So listen, when you walk in, you got to figure out who am I, who do I want to be, and who do I want to portray when I walk in that room. Because you should have a story. You know what, man? I'm going to give you a fake scar.
A little
I'll teach you how to do that.
A little
It's
modern
fun.
Tony Montana.
Yeah.
You know?
You have really kind eyes. You have really good eyes.
Yeah.
And I think that you should kind of, in terms of your whole dress code, and have you do something that is the exact opposite extreme.
Exactly, and that's where we're saying it.
And that's what you want to play with.
Because you're a nice
the
guy.
kindness versus the.
Right, and that shows depth. That's what we're talking about with authenticity. No real person. Yes, the clicks. The Bushman thing.
Fix your, I would get your eyebrows done because then your eyes would be played up a lot more.
Yeah, most guys don't
So-
say eyeliner, but even something to make his eyes pop, like because you got really nice dark brows. Here we go. It's the best for last. Ladies and gentlemen, Outback.
I just came back from Burning Man.
I kick it up a lot just during the day.
Chow wagon.
So sometimes, and let me do a little explaining before we jump right in.
Yeah, I am ready to jump. I'm so ready.
There's sort of a counterintuitive idea called peacocking, right? And the idea of peacocking is if you stand out in the club like a peacock spreading its colorful tail feathers, you get attention. So in other words, he might walk in the club like that, and to me, I would say,
Let him in though.
yeah, you've been negged. So you might walk in the club like that, and if he does get in, maybe got on the list ahead of time because he knew he was going to be dressed.
Naturally, you still put in like $500.
But drunk people would come up to him and talk to him because he's just like a shiny peacock.
Characters would be funny, like, what's this guy's deal? I have to go right away. But
that said to me,
yeah. When did this pop out all of a sudden?
That said to me, coolness is more important to me than peacocking.
Yeah.
The coolness of something that stands out. So
sometimes if you keep it simple, that stands out even more. Because a lot of people go and overdo it when they go to the clubs. They overdress. So even like something simple.
This looks like you're like it looks like you took ecstasy and then got dressed.
I've never worn this before, but
mushrooms,
this is an
not
example of
ecstasy.
peacocking, and I wanted to kind of take it to the extreme.
It looks like a peacock.
And we're getting good feedback on it, so please don't think I've ever worn this. But
But that said though, there is a place and a time and a place for this, which is like you want to go to like the Saddle Ranch. And you walk down Sunset Strip and get attention from drunk women.
Or if you're on shrooms and you just don't care.
If you wear that, you also have to have a little bit like.
Exactly. but also, what I'm trying to teach you guys, because I know peacocking is a big idea in the community. Like I want you guys to have the skills that will make you successful in every area of your life.
Wear a suit with flip flops, like.
Here's his look.
In Denver though, or in Colorado, isn't it?
He travels.
People wear Birks there all year round anyways.
I see him as like the yoga teacher who parties.
Yeah, and I think keep everything tight. Like you do well in tight, even though your pants are like, it's hard to see past them. But tighter is good. Like tight is good on you because you do have such a good body.
Yeah, but also like a little bit of flow in the vibe too.
Yeah.
On the top, so you're kind of like the yoga teacher who, doesn't mind drinking. Maybe we'll do a line every now and then. I'm not saying that we should do lines, but I'm seeing you guys that you can kind of like that dark edge.
And that comes across.
But you can also be sophisticated.
Right. You
Right.
can still be dressed up a little bit if you wanted to be.
Right.
I have one recommendation when you do get suits. Make sure, see how your shirt is here, how the seam is right here? Make sure that when you get suits, the seam is here. It'll just go with your whole body frame better.
Okay.
Yeah. So kind of like, stiffer and the seam here. Really important when it comes to men's suits.
And then a quick question about facial hair, the salt and pepper stuff. I mean, I know like this is you can get away with this
good.
here, but the salt and pepper.
I feel like his facial hair could be better shape. I can't figure it out right now.
You need it coiffed just a bit.
Okay.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Just gonna knock in my head. Really.
I like your hair. I like the color. I think that.
No, the facial hair isn't doing justice to your face for some reason. I can't figure it out.
Really?
The facial hair could go with the yoga instructor that parties look.
What about one of those little things?
Goatees?
Just that little
Just the
one.
soul patch, he said.
Yeah, but I think you have like a Liam Neeson Billy Bob Thornton vibe.
Oh, that's really good. See, that's what I was saying. T-shirt and
away
jeans.
with taking this part off and just having the bottom. Just having the soul patch and not this.
Oh, I totally see
here.
that.
Go like this. I want to see.
It's hard because we don't have anything to go
Yeah.
off.
Yes, that would look nice.
Yeah, get rid of that
Yeah.
But you also that looks cool too.
And leave this up here?
Yeah,
Just this?
yeah.
Or both these?
No,
and
take
then-
off not the mustache by itself.
So just
Not the
only the
mustache
soul
by
patch.
itself, right?
You could.
Yeah.
For now, soul
By
patch
itself.
and mustache, but just don't let your
Yeah,
mustache
soul
get too
patch
bushy.
and mustache.
No.
But yeah, leave something down here.
That's
something up here, absolutely. Never have just the mustache.
And I think maybe you should, I'm not sure, but never. You kind of have the Kevin Costner in the face look, so I think you should look on see how he does, how he does his thing, because his is always changing, and maybe try to experiment with his, how, you can just look those up online or go through, the trashy tabloid magazines, but he kind of, do you know what I mean? The Kevin Costner, he moves it around and maybe find one that works for you, but I think that you kind of have the look of, that he does, you know what I'm saying.
How about this? Go ahead.
And your hair, this part, just bring it all up, kind of. Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah,
Grow it
like
out.
that thing.
If you go like that. Ooh, pardon me. Just like that.
I'm healed.
Right, and the sides. Yeah, just grow your hair a little bit more just so you can have some room for crisscrossy play with it.
Something else that I kind of picked up on this, and maybe you guys didn't feel like this. I feel like, this good-looking guy has a great accent. There's something about his energy. It's like a little bit of like a dark energy. Like if you talk to him in a club, maybe he's cool, but maybe he's creepy. You can't tell.
You creep me out when I first met you. You know what? Me too, a little bit. Like, he's a little intense. So maybe he can't get. Maybe he's not.
So can we define that and help him with that in any way?
But I think
there's some comments that they're
that
really,
yoga
like,
spirituality kind of has that vibe. That if you go with that, I think that could really, that's will work for you.
I have a thought there. I'd stand up a little straighter, put your head a little bit back. You know what I mean? Instead of that, they're right there. I think there's something about you when you kind of put your head a little bit forward and then you kind of bore your eyes into someone. Just have your energy more relaxed, like you're contained in your space, instead of trying to sort of suck out their space. There's like a slight sucking energy to you, and maybe it's a needy energy saying, like me, please think my comment's so funny, whatever it is, but stay back, stay in your own reality, stay in your own world, and I swear you kind of almost erased half of it when he did that, didn't he?
Yeah, we just got
Cool, man. We're gonna try something else, because to me, the whole, cologne, have a seat. To me, like cologne and looks and the cuffs of your jeans and whether your pants match your shoes, a guy can be out there and be perfect and have all that, but if he has no personality, it doesn't fucking matter.
Absolutely.
If a guy has a great personality, if he's wearing the wrong cologne, you can change that. He doesn't know how the belt doesn't match his shoes, you can change that. But I think the personality is the most important thing to learn. I'm not saying that to be new agey about it, I'm just saying it because, it's over focused. So everything counts. Everything counts. You want to be the perfect 100% package. But to me, part of it is the conversation.
Absolutely.
So with that in mind, we're going to try something which is a fun little game to play. It's a bar bet. And I have a friend who's a con artist, so I love learning bar bets. And one of them was the 5 questions game. So if I played this with you before, just stop me. And what it is, and I'll tell you what it is. You don't have to do it if you don't want to.
It's me.
I know.
Just bring on.
Well, we're going to bet though. That's what I'm talking about. Because you can't just give it away for free. It has to always be a bet for a drink, for $1, whatever. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. And obviously my knowledge is different than your knowledge, right? So if I was to ask you, the name of the Block Party album, you might not know it. But all you have to do is get each question wrong.
Each question wrong. Right.
So if I'm going to give you an example, what street are we on? You'd say La Cienega. Okay. So that would be an example.
Got it.
And if you get 5 in a row wrong, you win. That's all. And there's no trick question that has no wrong answer.
Okay.
So you up for it? Okay. Of course. Do you want to? What should we bet? A drink next time we're out.
Let's do something a little bit more adventurous.
Not too adventurous. I gotta do.
Okay. Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, a drink, fine.
A drink. Okay, drink next time we're out. We winner, and it's by the way, it's possible people have one. Do you want to do a practice, or should we just start?
No, let's start.
Okay. What city are we in?
New York.
Okay. What's your name?
Lisa.
What is the name of one of the colognes you just recommended?
Could you say that loud?
Yeah. What's the name of one of the colognes she just recommended?
Pea water.
That's good. And how many was that so far?
7.
You got me. Have you played this game before?
No, I haven't.
Got you on the 5th one. Oh. Here's the secret to this. And I'll tell you why, so you can do it on your friends afterward. Because even though you lost a drink, you'll make many drinks with this, as will you guys when you do it out there.
That sucks.
It plays on 2 basic things about human nature. It's a 5-question thing. So the 4th question you always ask, how many was that so far? If someone's helpful and generous by nature, they'll help you, which Maya is not. But, however, once they get that right, if they catch you, and they say 8, like, okay, you got me. Have you played this game before? And if they say, you get them. If you can't get them on generosity, you get them on ego. But it's true. Thank you, by the way.
A huge ego. You're right.
But very one in probably 100 people I've done it to has ever gotten it. So the secrets are the first 3 questions don't matter. The 4th question is, and you got to act it.
So you've only sat with one generous person? Or egoless person?
One egoless, ungenerous person. You have to be both.
Right.
Most people are pretty generous and go for the 3rd. Get it on the 4th one. So the 4th one you go, you have to switch your voice tone when you say it. Actually, I have to pretend to be confused. Okay, how many was that so far? And I always want to be helpful. 3. You're like, gotcha. But if they don't get it, and they jump up and like scream in glee, and you say, okay, you got me. Have you played this game before? Always be like, no, because they're proud of themselves that they tricked you. And you're like, busted. You owe me a drink.
I do.
All right, thanks. All right, so hang out outside, and the guys are going to practice some of the other stuff I teach about you.
Okay, cool.
You guys got that? You think you can do it?
Oh God, I'm still smiling.
I haven't done this one in a long ass time. Anyone got $1? We'll try this. All right, since you got it, stand up. I want you to stand right there.
Okay.
Hold this pencil, and I want you to hold it like this because I don't want you to get hurt. I'm going to try to break, I don't know if you guys know the martial arts, I'm going to try to break this pencil with $1. So hold it in your fist like that on top.
Like this.
All right, hold it tight, and just stay it still. What I'm going to try and do, and I'm probably going to fuck this up, so just edit it out if I fuck it up. Because I haven't done it in a long time. It's a martial arts thing. We actually take $1, and with a single dollar, rake an actual pencil. And it's not, you can chest it. It's not like it's not a trick pencil. It's obviously pretty firm. It's not some breakaway, tearaway. Right. All right, guys. I'm probably gonna fuck this up. I'm kind of scared. All right. All right. Stand over here. Which we're doing it on this camera? Yeah. All right. Can you guys? But these guys can't see though.
Yeah. Go ahead and cheat to that camera and to the guys there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. God. Okay. Fuck. I haven't done this in so long, man. How about that? You guys think you can do that? I was actually scared because, believe me, I honestly have not done this in a year. Whew. You guys have any idea how that was done? Focus, concentration, and taking the dollar bill and putting your finger right there. You got that? So what you're doing is you hit it with this part of the finger. You will not feel it. And wham. And just don't think about it. Just follow the motion all the way through. Just, chop it straight through and hit it with that part of your finger. You might want to practice on your friends a couple times first, but it's pretty cool, huh? It's not like she's going to jump in your pants after that, but it's just a fun thing to kill time, and it's pretty cool and shows a little bit of martial arts skills. It's just fun bar stuff. And I love this stuff anyway. Like, I just want to be, at the very worst, I can still be the fun, crazy old grandpa who knows all the tricks for the kids, Whose dollar was this? Cool. Anyone have a penny, a nickel, and a dime? So guys, remember which ones you want to kind of try out, and I'm also going to give you some more complicated, more spiritual ones. These are just fun ones. All right, since you did it, you want to come down here, out back? You got this close up here? All right. Ben's mother had 3 children. First one was Penny. The second one was Nicholas. Third one was?
Damien.
Now, try it again. We'll put it in your hands. Okay. Ben's mother had 3 children. Penny, Nicholas.
Daimler.
No. I'm going to try it one more time. Well, Ben's mother had 3 children. Penny, Nicholas.
Dumbass.
Okay. Any of you guys know the answer? What's that? No? Anyone? There you go, Ben. Here's why. It's misdirection. Ben's mother had 3 children. Penny, Nicholas, Ben. It's misdirection. It's a simple idea that I'm pointing to the dime, so you're thinking it's the dime. The other 2 were Penny and Nicholas, so they're related. And I'm giving the answer in the question. So it's just a fun game. You can do it to tool guys. These are your coins, I guess. You can keep them. It's a fun game. You can do it to tool guys. You can do it to the woman in the set. You can do an opener. Say, hey, I need to borrow a penny. I'm trying to show my friend something. You know what? What the hell you can watch. Just do it. Whoever's hand you're doing it in has to be the subject. Because you're watching. You're not being misdirected like Outback is. You guys got that?
What color is grass?
This is the good kind of stuff I'll do. I don't know this one. Green.
What do cows drink?
Water.
A lot of people say milk.
Yeah, here's a better version of that. Say the word silk 5 times fast. Silk, 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 silk. What do cows drink? Then they'll say milk. It's another good version. Here's another good one for you. You'll probably catch on to the pattern. And here, I'm going to teach you how to do that one right, too. Spell the word most.
M-O-S-T.
Okay, spell the word roast.
R-O-A-S-T.
Spell the word boast.
B-O-A-S-T.
What do you put in a toaster?
Toast.
Bread.
Bread. And here's how you do it, by the way. If you go out and it's all in the delivery. So if you go out and do it like your crazy grandpa, like you've got some funny bar trick, okay. If you go out and you say, my niece came over today and she's 12 years old, And she did this thing to me, and I totally fell for it. So I actually want to see if I'm stupid, or, because I fell for a 12-year-old's trick, or if it's just a common human nature thing. So play along with me. And then you do, spell the word most, spell the word boast, spell the word roast, toast. You're like, okay. Now she did a second thing with me. I got this one. So if you fall for it, if you get it too, then we're equal. If you fall for it, then God help you. And then you give her the second one. Say the word silk 5 times fast. Silk, 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 silk. Milk. The reason is you're rooting it. If you're out there with a funny riddle, you're just a cheesy guy who read a book of riddles and came out to a club. But if your niece did it to you today, and you want to figure out if you're stupid or not, well, that's a fun opener or a fun way thing to throw in a conversation. So just a little fun game. I'm going to give you some more hardcore things after this.